Now, I do want to highlight the team defense in front of Wool for a second, because on the first Parayko goal, now I was going to bring up the NHL Edge, the simulation that they do where the player tracking to show this, but couldn't quite get it to work because it kept taking Dominic off screen. But I can describe what happened on that first goal, which is all 5 Leafs, at the time the pass goes back to Parayko, like as Parayko's winding up to shoot, all 5 Leafs are below the circles. That's not good. You cannot have that. Quite simply, that's bad defense, bad coverage, and it leads directly to a goal against.
This feels like that's been a bit of a pattern this year. Like, that feels like we've seen. There have been a couple of times where this has happened where they all get a little too close to the net, close to the goal line, and they sort of forget about everything else in the zone. And when you leave someone open like that, they're able to wind up and fire one home. It allows for better passing plays. It allows for more chaos because they're all stuck in one end, and then you give the other team time and space. And in this case, that time and space manifests itself as a clapper from the point. Again, not something you necessarily see a ton of these days, although, it was very fitting for the St. Louis Blues, as they talked about on the broadcast with Al McInnes and Chris Pronger and players like that in their history. So, it felt a little bit right from a historical point, but they've been doing this, and this feels like it's a bit of a problem. And maybe, they talk a little bit later on. They talked a little bit on the broadcast about how they're taking too many penalties because they're really trying to play that kind of Craig Berube hockey. And I wonder if this is an element of that, where they're really trying to get involved in those battles, that they're forgetting the larger picture. And when you get so caught up in battling for the puck, you tend to go where the puck is. And if the puck is starting lower in the zone, that's where everybody's going to congregate throw to the point, and next thing you know, there's a slap shot or something else that turns into a very nice scoring chance for the other team.
Yeah, and this is kind of a quirk in NHL defenses that Sheldon Keefe exploited when he first got to Toronto with the one of the forwards dropping high to F3 at the point, where the defenses are collapsing so tightly into the slot that if you bring a forward out, you force the defense to stretch out, you force them to kind of play more out of the slot. It's kind of like equated to the spread offense in football, where you have everyone out wide, which forces the defense to then spread out, and then the middle of the field, or in this case, the middle of the ice, becomes more open for offenses to attack. So the difference in this game is the Blues did not have a third forward high. The Leafs were just collapsing and leaving both defenders open, and they've left both defenders open frequently this season, as you point out, to the point where, like, again, they're low percentage shots, but 2% of the time, they're still going to go in. And if you're giving, again, we talk about playoff style goals a lot, playoff hockey a lot. And the Leafs have been bit on this a lot, where it's not going to be the odd man rushes, the highlight reel plays. It's going to be getting pucks and bodies to the net and getting rebound goals, which they've done a good job offensively of producing, the Leafs have. But by the same token, they haven't been as good defensively at preventing those style of goals. It's just an area to monitor as we continue the season, because, again, like, it's a long season. We say this every time, but it's all about trends, and it's all about establishing healthy habits for the Leafs, because this really, the regular season shouldn't matter. If it does, something has gone wrong.